Guys, Ben Wheel, the Mercenary King, here with another deck profile for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rummy Yu-Gi-Oh! Under the Yu-Gi-Oh! 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 Alright guys, it's Zul here. It's weird. Anyway, I've got my Rummy Labyrinth case on. Oh geez, what happened to this thing? Motherfuck. Just come on. Like, holy shit. Hey Ash, come take a look at this. Somebody's like torn off the top of my thing. Like, take a look at this. Alright, so they ripped off this part. Then they did to this part. It's weird.
Because it was at the top. So they could fit 3.
Oh. It's weird.
Yeah, you can see how this was taped at the top.
Yeah. It's strange.
So you fit 3 in one seat?
Yeah.
So it fits 3 in one box.
Sure, but still, it's really disturbing. It's like they ripped off the top of this thing. Warner. Yeah. A rule shark. Just going, rah, 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 rah. Not legal. Brr. Brr. There we go. Alright, and as we hear, we got the best part of this box. The flat piece of cardboard. I, for one, am glad to have various flat pieces of cardboard in my life. I also call them my friends. You hear that, Ash? Nothing. Why am I doing so many comedy bits on this thing? And why is it upside down? Why is it upside down? Why would it do this? Why would it be upside down? Well, whatever. Anyway, 1, 2, I think this is what, 7? And then I'll go underneath it. I will stop at a certain point if I pull all my SGRs, all my SPs, and at least an SP pack, or a Rummy Labyrinth rare. Just put it on my toes. Why did I do that? Let's open up the first box. Here it is. It's pretty sweet. These are the GRs, and I think these are the reprints. Maybe. I can't remember. This isn't really my set. My set's the Mega Colony set. I know it's coming. I'm sure. Like, they just need to make an all zoo set, and I'd be so happy. Just an all zoo set. Hibbit. Hibbit. I'm not going to go over the cards. I will in a separate video. Oh, looks like we got our first triple rare, boys. Oh, so it is a Night Rose. So maybe the other 2 things are Night Rose and Harry. 1, 2. By the way, isn't this the most adorable sand trigger art, heel trigger art you've seen in a while? I mean, that's triple rare. First couple packs is pretty nice. Then we got a double rare, which means the rest of these boxes are ruined. No. Pale moon, pale moon. Another triple rare. Double rare. Looks like this is a box just full to the brim of Grand Blue. What am I doing? So I do like what's coming out in this set. The commons and rares especially, I think I like a bit better than the like triple rares and whatnot. Because the triple rares, like, this isn't quite a power creep set. This is a power equalizing set. Like, it doesn't push anyone beyond any of the two clans in here beyond what they actually are. It just brings them into a modern era of sorts. Some things are just weird, some things not so much. Oh, GR Mega Trick Fairfield. I do like Fairfield. He gets plus 10k and a crit and an act. Soul Blast 2. You know, until in turn this unit gets plus 2k. Oh no, wait. The rear guard it calls gets plus 10k and a crit. And it cannot be chosen by card effects. Shuffle your deck with the soul in a turn. You know, it's just a really good card. I just like it. You know how it is. Ooh, Lukier. I do like Swordmaster Mimic. I think it's one of the better cards that they've released for Grand Blue. And part of the reason I say that is just because the plus 3Ks it gives out are really useful. And I think do a lot of work for a power-based Grand Blue deck. The only problem is it does, you know, take up resources, as does everything else. Looks like I also got a reprint. Not bad. You know what? This is a pretty good box. A reprint, and it's a good reprint, by the way. And whoops. Reprint and a GR with a Night Rose triple rare. I'm not going to call this a god box, but it's pretty solid. It's pretty up there. Wait a minute. Good. But this heel trigger's so ugly though, compared to the nice Grand Blue Lolly. I mean, guys, come on. It's not really a question of aesthetics or taste or decency or the law. It's a question of aesthetic. You know what's aesthetic? Lollies. Ghost lollies. Ghost pirate lollies. But this guy, this Draco kid, fuck this guy. He's eating an apple. What a dick. Just sitting there eating an apple. I hate this guy. You guys don't get it. Ugh. See this? Compared to this? Yeah, that's why Grand Blue won this set. That's why they won this set. That's all I have to say. That's why they won this set. I do like what they did with the 7 Cs. Like, they finally gave them a bunch of good stuff. But they're like, yeah, but you have to ride to grade 3 for it. Oh man. 7 Cs, no grade stucking. Oh, another Night Rose. I'm happy to pull them every time. Even though I really do want hairy stuff, because I personally like Pale Moon. Pale Moon speaks to me. You know. Thanks for the Pale Moon, guys. You know, this isn't gonna be like when I opened up Trinity Dragon, when I pulled so many SP Susanos and Susanos in general, and it just wasn't a good day for the sanity of Ben Wheeler. Was not. On the other hand, these sets are really easy to organize. It's real nice. Jackie the Ghosty. Jackie! One more thing. Oh, looks like we got an SP Negro Songer. That's actually really good art. Besides the full body stuff, I don't know whether you can tell this, but there is kind of like octopus suction cup marks all over the SP. Like, that is just nice. That's real nice. I'm just going to put it on the reprint set. So, we got one SP down. But it is just beautiful. Like, it is just beautiful. Oh, wow. This is almost too beautiful to sell, but I want to make a living, so I sell it. Ooh. I mean, but Nero-san are just, that art. I don't even like the guy. That art. Still haven't gotten I do like this crit trigger though. It's just nice. It's just nice art. Like the Nightmare Dolls get the best art of the set, I think. Like that Negro Song or SP is good, but the art itself is like, I don't care. But big booties, booty, butt booty everywhere. I need a trouble. Oh, it's a new Harry. That's what I like. That's what I like about you. I don't know the song, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a charlatan when it comes to these kind of songs. Box 3. Just saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was a lot better than the second one, I think. Ash has commented that the soundtrack wasn't as fresh as it, but I think that's just, he's right, you know, but I think it's also because of how it was designed. The movie, like the first one was just, you know, we didn't know what we were getting into and all that jazz, but this is the second Guardian movie. The benefit of, another Night Rose. 3 Night Roses in a row! I like it. It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, you can't sell the movie just on that anymore. You know what I mean? You can't do it just on that. But it's a good movie in its own right. It's probably a lot better than the first one overall. And I think the critical reception will be as such. I think it's interesting that they kind of evolved Drax the Destroyer, into more of a, like, gave him the comedic timing he needed now that he was over the death of his wife and children. Not over, but it's like he described the mating practice and he's like, my father would tell me the time he impregnated our mother with us, you know, at every winter solstice. And it's like, and because he is so serious about it, it's absolutely hilarious every time. Especially his interactions with the telepath, where it's like, you know, he's like, does he like her a bit? You know, it seems that way. But reprint Harry. I do like this art though. Shit, it's good art. Where it's like, you are also beautiful, but only on the inside. And it's like, yes, my wife was not dancing. I saw her and I knew she was the one for me. And then the genitals engorged. I was like, whoa, no, please. No, stop. We don't want to hear about your species apparently violent mating rituals. Please. We're begging you. Except he doesn't listen. He just doesn't listen. Alright. Yeah, whatever. Oh, no. Skeletal Marauder. I don't remember this guy. Choose a rear guard. Oh, okay. So it just gets another attacker. Yeah. Sometimes I just don't remember some of these things. What am I gonna get in this case? Reprint Harry was nice. Now keep in mind, people, I don't think are gonna be. There's not a lot of money in Harry, sadly. There's more money in Silverthorn. Oh, hey, another Harry. Anyway, there's more money in Silverthorn than there is in Harry, it seems like. But what do I know? I do find this little guy, Clemmy the Ghosty, pretty amusing. And I think I'm pretty much going to get a Ghosty deck. Wow, this is all Ghosty. I mean, not Ghosty. Yeah. You know what? I think I know what deck I'm going to be running. Ghosty. Just because these guys are adorable. Like this guy, look at his hat. This guy means business. I'm on number 4. You know he means business. With his like 2 sabers, and I was like, oh, this is adorable. Anyway. Let's keep going. So far, I've only hit 1 SP and 2 GRs and 2 reprints. I kind of wait 1 GR. I kind of want to hit more and get a Rummy Labyrinth rare because that'll be money, and that's it. You know what? That's what it is. Money makes the world go round. The problem with being a guy who just doesn't care about like money, and it's not that I just don't care about money. It's just that I'm not motivated by money, I should say. I'm not a man to be motivated by money. It's just one of those things. Like when I see money, I am not motivated by it. I'm like, oh wow, more money. What will I ever not do with this? And because it's not like I'm addicted to cocaine or anything like that. And even this, you know, most of the money I'm spending on this game is going into the business of it anyway, so I'm getting more and putting out more, so it's one of those things. Boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Boop, doo, doo, doo. This is I want to go. Moving on in the city. That's so pretty. I'm high. I'm fireman too hot. Fireman too hot. So I got 2 Fairfields. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Because I always got to have her on top. Just to remember what moat makes the world go round. Wally butt. It's only a matter of time. The thing is that I feel like I'd be protected. It's like I've got a thing called a horn job right in there, and it's utterly sexual, and it involves 2 unicorns who love each other very much. So I'm not too worried about it. I can pretty much claim like anything, and I'll be just fine. I'm just your typical degenerate. Thank you very much. Ooh. Just degenerating over here. You know how it is. Just, you know, doing typical degenerate things. How old is that horse? Oh no. Well, horse years are human years. Because there isn't really an age of consent per se. Harry from the first pack. I like it. Wait a minute. Oh, that is a nightmare doll. One of the things that always disturbed me about like Undertale is that there are actually very few heterosexual relationships in Heterotale. Whoops. Undertale. Like, if you notice that, it's mostly not heteronormative. And you might say, well, that's good. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't really do anything for me. You see, I'm obviously not one of those social justice guys. But it's like, Mettaton is a fantastic villain. And so is Alphys. But the thing is that it's Alphys herself, outside of her quote-unquote villainy, is not a very interesting character. Like, she just isn't. Part of the problem comes from the fact that she is super gay for the fish. Whatever her name was, feminist fantasy of aggression. Doreen? Lucy? Something like that. Anyway. But the problem is that, it's perceived as cute or adorable or whatever you want to call it. The problem is that, she's hideously and utterly emotionally manipulative. Like, it just doesn't end. Like, what she does. She, like, basically, she created Mettaton, forced him, looks like a reprint, to fight you, basically. Keep you out of it. And then try to make herself a hero through various things. Which you can figure out the first time you fight Mettaton. Like, that's how bad she is at it. But the thing is that, there's never really, at least the way I played, I did not play Genocide, where I understand she plays a bit more heroically, because you're an absolute monster. I just couldn't do it. But, it's just one of those things where, I wouldn't trust someone like that, who lies and manipulates her friends and, doesn't show really much of any remorse for it that she's punished for. Like, the reason why people get their just desserts is because it's cathartic and satisfying. And, I'm on box 6 now. That was box 5. Still haven't gotten many SPs. Or Rare, Legion Rare, and SP pack. She just doesn't do it. And it's like, yeah, but you might say that's part of it. But I'm like, yeah. But it doesn't change anything that she's an untrustworthy character. Like, it's... People act according to how they are naturally, ultimately. Everyone does it. I do it, you do it. And because we act naturally to ourselves... Ooh, look here. We don't really have that many options to change. Like, there wasn't anything in Alphys's story arc that showed her regretting Night Rose. I am drowning in Night Rose and I'm okay. Showing her Undyne, I think. There we go. Really regretful for her actions. She's just kind of like, well, I didn't mean to anyone get hurt, and this went too far, and, stuff like that. And it's like, you're not actually regretting you did it. You regret letting it getting out of your control. And I think that that's, like, part of the flaw of the writing for Undertale in general. A lot of things go out of various characters' control, but nobody seems to be interested in, taking the blame for it. I bent the corner on this one. Or fixing it, like, even. It's, like, with the failed relationship of the king and the queen, Toriel. There's... The guy still lives with him at the end. Like, if you choose to live with what's-her-name? Toriel, which I think is just a terrible idea. Like, if you choose that, like, you're not choosing, like, true to character. If you're doing, a non-genocide route with an option to do it in the end. Like, it's just not there. Like, why would you live with someone who hates you? Like, sure, you might say for love and all that good stuff, but I'm like, but why torture yourself? Like, is it because you enjoy the torture? Is it because ultimately you're fine with it? And I think not Toriel, sorry, who has got plenty of characterization, kind of. But the king of all monsters and all that jazz, he doesn't really get the characterization necessary to justify it. He's described as, doing it, and he's got too much pride, but the problem is we never actually see his pride. The guy spends most of his time gardening. I don't know a single proud person who does the gardening themselves. Alright? Reprint. And I'm not saying that this is a hard and fast rule, but I'm saying that if you work with your hands, you're going to have a lot more humble character, even if you're a king. Like, I've known some wealthy men in my life, and these men fall into two categories. Those men who work with their hands, or have worked with their hands, or don't mind getting dirty, are different in character, completely different in character, to those men who don't. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that one man is better than the other, but I'm saying that the character of the men are different, fundamentally so. And that because they are different, they have different interactions with the world and different ways of looking at it. And I'm saying that those men who work with their hands are humbler, in general, than those who don't. And so I don't really see that replicated here. Now, it's just me and just what I've seen. Maybe, there's something wrong with that viewpoint, but I don't think so. Like, it disturbs me. Like, Undertale, like, it's one of those things that makes you feel good. It's like, oh, these emotional things, blah, 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 great art, great character, on all that music. Oh, I won't argue that, but that music's, like, some of the best video game music to ever come out. Like, the Metaton theme is my personal favorite. Oh, looks like I got a third Fairfield. Okay. It doesn't do anything. Not really. It isn't the same as the plot. Now, good music can make you forget about flaws because it drags you in and it gives you a really good feel for it. But it still doesn't fix character arcs and art direction, that sort of thing. The art direction was pretty good too. But it's like, why have that sort of unbalance? Like, what makes that unbalance positive? Like that you want to represent it in your game. That you've, spent years on and you put all this thought into and multiple layers of storyline and Easter eggs and all that jazz, and then it's like, well, yeah, but then, like, several main characters are just bitches. Or they're weak, or they don't actually get over their flaws. Or, like, Sans, who is probably one of the better characters around, doesn't even really get a story arc until, unless you, that finishes. Unless you do a genocide route. Like, it's just one of those things, like, and even then, it's mostly him just waiting for you to get to the end while you slaughter his friends. And that's not really explained. Like, if somebody killed my brother, who, is autistic, but, let's face it, Papyrus is he's in there. I would just go after him. Like, I wouldn't wait at the final boss's lair to... give him a good show. I'd snipe him, from wherever, I'd go after him without hesitation, and I wouldn't let other people go through the same thing. It is immoral that if you have the power to stop something, that you don't. You might say, well, I don't want the trouble. Well, guess what? You'll still be called into account for it, either in this life or the next. And you might say, well, I don't believe in that. Okay, I do. And people before me do, and my ancestors did. And there's enough in there that you should probably consider it a bit better than you do. And instead of relying on bullshit books written by sour men who have daddy issues. Like, it's just one of those things. And games like that, I think they portray a false narrative. that you can wait for the right time to do things, or that you shouldn't do things when you do. And that even though it looks great and has so many fun, interesting, colorful characters, if those characters don't go anywhere, but the game is all about those characters, then you're just seeing a day in the life of these guys. Sure, a day that you can kill them, but it's still not there. Like, it's just not there. I haven't pulled another SP. I pulled no Dragoots. I have one Dragoot. Boo-doo. Also, like other games, like liberal games especially, like, and I'm not just talking like games made by liberals. I mean games with a clear liberal agenda that they go for. It's frustrating. Another Harry. I'm still okay with this. It's frustrating to do it because it's like, oh, so you don't like character development and character arcs and blah, blah, blah. Well, sure, I do like them. I like them a lot. I like them better than you do, probably, because I judge my games based on it. But it's like, the main character of Doom doesn't really go through an arc. There's no arc for him to go through. He is there, his purpose, and it's made clear in every single thing that talks about him, is that they hint that they betrayed him, that he betrayed his fellows to get his son back to life, and the demons betrayed him, like, in turn. And then he went on a rampage to do it. Now, that's one interpretation. Another interpretation is that he's the last survivor, which was also mentioned, and a few other things besides. Like, they just left it vague, which is good. But he is already a complete character by the time he picked up his chainsaw and started applying it liberally to demon heads. Who? SP, Seawall Banshee. Oh, that's a nice SP. This is almost as good as the Alicia SP. Better, even. I think it's better. Seawall Banshee SP? I know, right? This is nice. And Night Songer. I'm feeling good so far. Any character development the Doom Marine went through would kind of just not work. When you get, and this is spoilers, by the way, guys. If you're planning on playing Doom and you care about the story, and by the way, you shouldn't care about the story of Doom. The story of Doom is, guy wakes up pissed and starts killing demons. That's it. Sort of thing. This isn't Doom 3, guys. He saves the AI who's been helping you this entire time. At the last second, he's able to stuff him into a chip and take him with him. His personality, anyway. Which I don't think actually counts for the real person, but don't worry. Just don't worry about that. That philosophical element can wait. He does a kind thing. Like, there are parts to him and how he acts. He is more than just a brute who, applies chainsaws liberally to demon skulls. He has personality and feelings and all that jazz, but he deals with it mostly by chainsawing demons in half. Negro Songer. First actual triple rare Negro Songer. He punches a screen, he has interactions with Samuel Hayden that imply that he just hates the guy's guts. And it sets up for a sequel pretty well, actually. And honestly, I'm fine with that. Like, it was clear, number 9, from the outset, that the Doom Marine has no character to develop. He is a complete individual. Now, you can't really write complete individuals too well, but it's things like Aragorn. Aragorn doesn't actually mature over the course of Lord of the Rings. However, his character growth and arc is towards the kingship that is rightfully his by blood and right. And so when you watch Lord of the Rings, you don't really go to see him become a callow youth and all that jazz and Go into it, reprint Harry. We got 2 now. I'm okay with this. And all that good stuff. You know, you go there to see him become who he should be. And I think that's what Doom is similar. You're here and you understand, like, even people who don't give a shit about the story arc of Doom understand that the Doom Marine isn't, like, he isn't about feeling the grief of the spirits of his ancestors and all that jazz, and the wordless sorrow of a dead world, and you know the nightmare that has been wrought upon, you know, countless worlds by the demons. You know, you're not there for that, and he's not there for that. He's done. He's taken care of it. He is an emotionally solvent individual, not solvent. He is an emotionally stable individual who just happens to have a demon infestation problem, and that he can solve. You know, and I think a lot of games miss out on it. Like, it used to be most games were like that. Like Commander Keen, back in the day of floppy disks. And all that jazz. You know, I don't think many people really remember it these days like I do. Even then, I don't really remember it too well. You know, days of floppy disks and all that jazz. You know, Commander Keen was a kid who built a spaceship out of a vacuum, his dad's whiskey, with a football helmet, vacuum. Did I say vacuum cleaner? What else did he put in? Oh man, I don't even remember anymore. But like, that was how long it is. I got it on Steam, but I just don't want to play it again. Because it's, you know, you just grow up. I like this Night Alert fella. You know, and his character, he didn't actually have a character arc. Like, he just went across the universe fixing problems. And like, he had an evil twin or clone or an altered dimension or something. I can't remember. And, you know, he had to deal with that. And there was some evil force out there. And then there was Vorlons he had to not kill per se, but, oh, Venus Lucia. Kill per se, but, you know, he had to deal with it. Because he was there, and he, you know, he might as well take care of things, make things a little bit better. He didn't have a story arc, not really, because there wasn't really, because he was, I don't want to say a naturally good person, because he still stole from his parents and all that jazz, to create the Beans and Bacon Mega Rocket or whatever it was called. You know, but he was enough of a person. He had specific likes and dislikes and interactions with various things that would, number 10, that could be clearly plotted out and reacted to. And it was very enjoyable. Or things like Jazz Jackrabbit, or, you know, any of the other side scrolling shooters. You know, there isn't really character you have in Jazz Jackrabbit. He likes Princess Carrot, or whatever her name is, and he hates Donovan Turtle, or whatever his name is. You know, it's simple, but it works. Like, these games are remembered fondly because they work. I just finished playing Doom. It's actually a really good game. You guys should play it. I'm gonna play Prey soon too, but I'm trying to write up a novel, and I will, when I finish that novel, I will buy Prey and play it. I need to get on that, but this stuff is really taking up my time, along with other personal things. It's like one of those things where it's like, you really want to do this, and you know you have to do it, but then there's things that pop up that you want to do, or get, or eat, or something, and ultimately you have to choose. I'm choosing poorly, so I'm gonna fix that. We're gonna see what happens. Yeah, you see what I'm doing? Chestlet, Francesca, Dragoot. So far, I have 3 Fairfields and 1 Dragoot. no SGRs, 2 SPs, no Rummy Labyrinth Rare, or no SP pack.
Diesel.
Diesel. Hup. I am going to be building some decks out of this stuff. Look forward to them. It's just one of those things. Some of the thing I'm seeing in literature, a lot of literature is just unmemorable. No point in memorizing it. You know, it's just, it's 11. It's just one of those things, like, with any medium, things ebb and flow. Like, some years are really good years. Like, last year was actually and the year before that were actually amazing years for science fiction, for me. Besides the fact that, and I'm not saying that they were amazing years in any other way, it wasn't. It was not a good year for me. it just wasn't. But I had to stop doing training with the king. I had to do all kinds of crazy stuff. I wrote a novel, but that was just because I had the time and energy to do it, and while I tried to find horrible amounts of work of any kind whatsoever. What to say? But basically, you know, otherwise though, those 2 years were actually pretty good. I read The Nightland. I saw published, you know, some of my favorite authors, science fiction and fantasy, you know, who wrote, you know, some amazing stuff out there that I deeply enjoyed. Triple Rare Night Rose, I'll take it. And I think that this year's going to be pretty good too. I will be showing off Astounding Frontiers when it comes out, which will have a novella of mine. I'm sorry, not a novel, a novella, a full-blown novel of mine. That'll be interesting. Like, the first 2 chapters are kind of boring. You know, the bride doesn't get kidnapped until the 4th chapter. I mean, sorry guys, you're gonna have to deal with the boring 3 chapters where they fall in love and I introduce the main antagonists to the main character. You know, I'm just sorry about that, guys. You're gonna have to deal with it. So the thing about this, by the way, is that I'm looking for Night Rose. If I don't pull Nigrosar, Rare Legion Rare. If I don't pull it, if I don't pull a Harry in the next one, it'll probably be a Night Rose. Anyway, you know, so it's like one of those things. It's like, I actually wasn't going to be in the first one at all, except that this guy read it. One of the editors is like, "Oh, this is amazing. You know, this is it. You know, this is what we want." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm happy." You know, not the happiest day of my life. Oh, SP Lovely Companion. I'm okay with this. I like it. So we are at 3 SPs, no SGRs, no. I think we're a little thin on GRs, and we're still missing our Rare Legion Rare, Rummy Labyrinth Rare, or SP pack, or both. We'll find out. But I'm actually glad that we're pulling the SPs. I do like SPs better than other things. Just because, especially with the new arts, it's really something. Really something to behold. also reading my way through, what is it, like weekly the guy is releasing to anyone, but especially for the Patreon supporters of his, of which I'm one of them. My favorite author is releasing a set of a novel called Superluminary, which is about these guys with super science, and they rule the human race, and they have to fight a race of intergalactic vampires. It is amazing. In the most recent one, the former Emperor of Man has been killed by the Lord of Mercury, who can teleport and cause him to be himself to be in multiple places at once. Like the guy plays ping pong against himself. Like, and it's implied that you see two guys standing there fighting, and what he does is he has powers over teleportation and matter transference and stuff. It's pretty great. And the Lord of Mercury has just killed the father and tries to kill Aeneas, who is the Emperor of Man, like the proper Emperor of Man, so to say. And because of that, Aeneas must now deal with the fact that there's no more, anything like that as the multiple world armadas of the vampires come crashing into their reality and attempt to slay them. Yeah, man. It's pretty great. Ooh, reprint Harry. But it's interesting because Aeneas can transform any part of his body. Like, all of the children of the Emperor of Mankind has been given a science of theirs, which they use to lord over their people and to create people of their choosing and to people of their choosing and to, govern them justly and all that jazz. And it's, I've had a lot more Pale Moon rares than Grand Blue rares. It's just interesting. It's just one of those things. It's like, it's by John C. Wright, Superluminary. Look it up. It's just real interesting. It starts out with an assassination. Then it moves on to the mysterious vampire space station. And the mysterious Lord Pluto, who, guards the secret of the Infinite Thedron. All kinds of crazy stuff like that. It's pretty great. Triple rare. Alright, we're starting at number 13. Again, looking for that Rummy Labyrinth rare or SP pack. Like, the thing about it is that these things are like $200, and even though these boxes are selling for like $50 a piece, I don't trust in that. For these types anyway. Well, I have sold all my set 8 boxes, which brought, I think, I'm down to like $170 or something like that on set 8 negative. Still one of those things where you're still figuring out the prices and everything like that. Like, I know it may sound weird, but I count things as a countdown. Every case before it's profitable. And then I take the profits that exist and I throw them towards other parts of the business. Overall, I get a lot of money, but I do want to make sure that when I do it, it's all nice and tidy, and I know what works and what doesn't work, and what I need to sell a little more of, focus a little bit better on, and when I don't need to focus on much at all. Another Dragoot, that's good. also need to update my physical records. Also need to buy stamps, because I lost my stamps. I'm not happy with it. Like, I placed them in a very obvious place for me, but I don't know if it was obvious for everyone else, or if it was just, I don't know. Reprint Harry. What am I at? I have 4 reprint Harrys. I want more Night Roses now. I do like Harry. Traps aren't key. Yes, they are. Now, are philosophical traps gay? Oh, that's the real question. Oh. One of the things that, like, something that happened yesterday is the firing of James Comey, and it's like, oh, this will be interesting, because it means that the movements are getting faster in a way, like, or more extreme, or I don't know how to say it. Like, it's gonna get interesting. Another Negro song. It's gonna get interesting real soon. And the thing is that if a lot of people who supported Trump also wanted Hillary to be basically arrested for treason against the American republic. And there's a lot of very good evidence for someone to do that. The biggest thing is Benghazi, but also the email scandal and a few other things. Like, one of the things about that James Comey did that's very weaselly, and I hate weasel stuff, is that he said that there's no intent to break the law. The problem is that the law doesn't give a shit, to be crude. The law doesn't care what you intended. Ooh, I'll take it. It never cares what you intend. Oh, you didn't know, street racing was against the law? Cry me a river, sort of thing, and get you a lawyer. It's just one of those things, like, the ignorance of the law is no excuse. Men have been killed over lovers and stuff like that. Just because, and women too, I guess. Just because they couldn't reprint Night Rose. Looks like I'm getting my wish. Shit. Just because, they couldn't keep it in their pants or whatever. And nobody really cares about that stuff, you see. It doesn't change whether the law exists. The law exists outside of our perception of it, if you dig. So when he said that there was no intent to break the law, basically everyone who understands what the law is, and certainly not liberals. Liberals don't understand what the law is. Generally. So those that do tend to have voted Trump. And I mean old school liberals, not the new SJWs or whatever they're turning into now, the Antifa crowd. Fuck those guys. But, a lot of people want to see Hillary Clinton arrested and tried for her crimes. And like, it goes back to the beginning of her political career. There's a lot of dead people in Arkansas who would be interested in seeing her and her husband put away. They have visited various islands and whatnot owned by famous pedophile, whatever his name is. They have John Podesta and his family are connected to a child pedophilia ring. It's nasty. How deep this goes. Like, there's it's almost like these people treated themselves like royalty. And America has no royalty, not really. They have nouveau riche, as these things go. People who become wealthy on their own or through their family or any number of things. Like, generally speaking, most Americans do not make their money through the government. They make it through business and law and all that other good stuff. Some do. And those people tend to be like Hillary Clinton, who did. Like, the Clinton Foundation funneled millions from Saudi Arabia and other nations, to fund her campaign. But it's like, when they say, you know, we support gay rights, and then they're taking money hand over fist from Saudi Arabia, who stones their gays and throws them off buildings and all kinds of nasty things. You know, it's telling, isn't it? That's how far it goes. They'll fight for any cause as long as they get paid for it. As soon as Obama left the presidency, he took speaking engagements for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. You know, to show that he wasn't one of them. Ultimately, he betrayed them, the liberal types, the people who thought he was the hope of the nation and all that jazz. And he went right to the fat cats and said, pay me and I will speak. And they paid him. And he's speaking. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, this people gotta wake up sometime, don't they? You know, can't you get woke? Like, there's still a lot of sheeple running around here. That's fine. Nobody minds some sheeple running around. Sheeple are okay. The sheeple are the normal people running around and doing their thing. And honestly, you do you guys. You know, I don't mind you guys doing what you want to do. But it's getting so crazy that, you know, there's not even the illusion of law. Everyone knows that there's a law for the rich and a law for the poor. And, you know, nobody mentions the middle class because they're dead. You know, it's just one of those things. It's how it goes. You know, and part of the firing of Director Comey is to reinstate that, like to put it back in. If Hillary is taken down by whoever replaces Comey. And I don't know that off the top of my head. I don't really care until he starts moving. Or an official replacement is put in, because it doesn't matter what the stuff does until it happens. You know, they basically have to, if the FBI, you know, doesn't turn into a laughingstock, they have to go after Hillary. Only Hillary. As fast as they can. They can take out the little guys first and just go for her, because I'm pretty sure that there's no honor among thieves in that group. But if the FBI wants to retain even a shred of the dignity that it had during the Prohibition in the 1950s and all that jazz, you know, it needs to go for it. It needs to go for her, and it needs to take her down as fast as possible. Otherwise, well, you know, when's the last time that you thought, oh man, thank goodness the FBI here, they're never, you know what I mean? Heck, most of the new dramas I've seen on NBC and whatnot don't even involve like FBI agents. Like, it's just all CIS or something. Not just CSI, but like there's a new one, and it was like, you know, still not FBI guys, still not part of this, still not doing what it needs to do. You guys need to fix it. Get your shit together. Get it together. Put it in a box, put it in a backpack, I don't care. Sell it to the shit store. Just can't have it here. Get your shit together. You know, Morty's speech from that. It's just one of those things. And the CIA is, reprint Harry. I'm at 5 reprint Harrys now. The CIA is similar. Like, it's not, people are very much aware. Even the sheeple. Like, it's one of those things to have a crazy conspiracy theorist like Dale Gribble go, you know, JFK was an inside job, you know, and all that jazz. But it's another thing to have normal people saying 9/11 was an inside job or Benghazi was an inside job, which it was. Like, Hillary Clinton literally let it happen by just not doing anything. Even if she had reacted defensively and pulled him out and then nothing had happened, that would have been a better action. Like, anything else than what she did would have been a better action, besides like telling them to kill themselves and like dragging them out into the streets. Like, it's hard to understand the level of fuck up that was involved in her decision. And, you know, I know I'm going on about this, but I feel very strongly about this. I do. Like, it's hard for me not to live my life, but to go about my business and then like have somebody tell me something that's utterly wrong. Like recently, here's another example of this. And I just can't stand it. Like, I can't stand not having truth around me. I don't lie to myself. I know I'm fat. I know I'm sometimes an unpleasant individual. I know I eat messy. You know, I know. You know, I understand. You know, no one's under any self-delusions here. You know, it's like this. I saw a Newsweek article, and it was one of those things. They started out, we're not going to bash Christians here. And then within a couple paragraphs, they started bashing Christians. And they call them hypocrites and liars because they don't follow perfectly the law that was laid down within the Bible. And I'm not saying the Bible has law on it, because the law of Christ supersedes all others, which is love God, love your neighbor, and love yourself, in that order. As you love yourself, rather. You know, no Christian who's intelligent understands you know, that you have to be perfect and anything like that. No, like, we are imperfect people. You know, we sin, we cuss, we, you know, mess up things, we don't make right decisions, we, you know, hate ourselves, we deal with things, we have delusions, we lie, you know. I'm going through these faster than I thought I was. You know, and it's just, you know, that's fine. It's the human condition. I don't really bother with other people's sin. I don't like hearing about sin, like, from other people. Not that I don't like a good message about sin. I mean that when somebody goes, you know, oh, I'm really struggling with this, I go, okay, just do better. You know, repent of it and do better the next time. But, you know, it's just really bringing me down. Look, man, I know, I'm sorry. But, you know, I don't want to talk about your porn addiction. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, we all deal with things, and you just kind of have to deal with it. You know, it's part of the reason why people like Catholicism. Like, it offers an assuage of guilt. Father, you know, I sinned again. You know, well, okay, you know, do a couple Hail Marys and, you know, maybe give some money to the poor and to, you know, take care of this and take care of that. And, you know, if you have a proper and contrite heart about it, you'll be just fine, my son. You know, that's what happens. That's what it does. That's what it do. The Protestants and others, you know, they don't really have that. So people just sort of come up here and they sort of cry and they go, oh my sin, oh my sin. But the problem is that they don't really have the dedication to break it. Like, it's like, sure, an addiction. Still haven't found anything else worth a damn. Come on. As soon as I hit an SP pack or a rare Army Legion rare, I'm going to finish up the box and stop. Either or. You know, they go, wow, you know, oh me. I'm like, okay, but you're under blood. You know, you're seeking repentance. You're good. Just go and sin no more. You know, it's how it works. You guys aren't doing anything new. Stop. And it's just one of those things. Like, and you have to listen to it at some point in life. You know, the point isn't really to say, oh me, oh my. It's to do better, you know. You'll always fail. Everyone fails at everything they do sometimes. You know, people don't make money. People don't make the right decisions in love. You know, people generally choose what they fuck up in. You know, I don't consider myself a fuck up in the girls I've dated. You know, I've made mistakes, but, you know, I don't think I've ever done anything and I said, oh, this is something that's going to resonate with me for the rest of my life just because it's such a failure. But I've met men who have, you know, and it's, you know, for them. But, you know, the ones who handle it best are the ones who get right back up and say, okay, well, I messed that up. Let's keep going. You know what I mean? They don't dwell in the self-hate that some people seem to. I think that's what it is. It's self-hate. Like, they want to flagellate themselves before people so that they have an assuaged guilt concerning their horrible actions, or not so horrible. And I think people underestimate what sort of things that we're up against here. This is Satan and others want us to stay in sin. Like, they don't want us to improve. They don't want us to go to the gym. They don't want us to eat right or fast or pray or go to religion. They want us to be stuck with it. Like most atheists. Like I joke that the reason why the amazing atheist is an atheist is because God gave him a micro dick at birth. Not really. I'm sure that his micro dick, his micro penis, is a response to some either lack of testosterone. Another Harry. I am drowning in Harry. I'm not happy. Some lack of testosterone as a child. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like, at some point, something happened to him where the growth hormones didn't go down there, so he didn't have a proportional dick. Or even a dick that worked for him. Like, some men, you don't need the biggest thing. Just what looks good on you. I don't have a... No, I'm kidding. But really, most atheists have problems with their fathers. I've yet to meet an atheist who always has had a good response with their father. Like, at childhood. I'm not talking now. I'm talking at childhood. Or that they had bad home lives, or their father wasn't there. At some point in time, something happened to them that with the masculine authority in their lives. And because they hurt the masculine authority in their lives, and I've noticed this with a lot of card fighters, they aren't able to handle the fact that God is the Father, God the Father, and all that jazz. And Jesus Christ and all. In the father-son relationship that God has with me and others. And I'm a terrible son. There's a saying that half our service to the Lord God is treasonous. Deus vult, but I'm gonna fuck up. I fuck up so much. Like, it's just one of those things. And other men, I'm not unusual. I'm normal. The only thing that makes me unusual is the fact that I'm woke to so much. Like, it's I haven't been unwoke to anything. I know that what sin I do is sin, and I know what other things I do are not sin, and what is sin. It's you can tell, like, eventually. How you tell? It's like how you feel about it, what you do about it. Maybe running over a grandmother, is a bad action. Not that I'm saying that video games. Oh, another SP Negro songer. Huh. 2 SP Negro songers. This is fantastic. I'm actually really happy about this. That's because people might buy both of them at the same time. And I know I'm getting pretty thick here compared to what I was talking today. But Amazing Atheist as a micro dick is just like the ancillary cause. Like, it's the thing that's in the background that he has to deal with. And the thing is that, it's one of those things where, it wouldn't change even if he was a Christian. Like, that would be his cross to bear, dealing with the fact that he has penis envy. Like, it's not going to be fun for him. I'm going to earn that motherfucking pre-title thing this time. One of the things I always find weird is that, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or so, I saw an article about a guy who was arrested for the immense amount of Japanese pornography that he had. And it was, of course, mostly lolicon stuff. The stuff like that, except she's probably being railed by Mick the Ghosty and his family or something. I don't know. And it's like, his hobbies, like, this is what they said. His family says his hobbies is reading manga, going exercising, and reading his Bible. Really? He's reading his Bible every day. Is that what he's doing? Is he doing that just to make you guys feel happy? You know, is he just like skimming it? Is he just reading through Chronicles or through Deuteronomy or something? Not Deuteronomy, because that might convict him. You know, like Revelation and stuff like that, so that he's never actually convicted about anything. He never actually learns anything about the Gospels. He never actually reaches a place of repentance. He just wallows in his sin. You know, and eventually he pays for it by having one of the biggest North American collections of pornography. You know, lolicon pornography from Japan. You know what I mean? It's like it's that kind of hypocrisy that people point to and say, "Oh, look at these Christians," which brings me back to the Newsweek article. The entire Newsweek article is, "Oh, look at these Christians not following what they do," but they themselves ignore their own imperfections. They say that, well, because you can't follow your religion perfectly in every single facet of it, you should, you know, they don't say this, but it's implied that you are a bad person. You are such a bad person for it. You know, and you don't know anything whatsoever. You know, that sort of deal. And it's just not how it works. You know what I mean? It's the imperfection of man is why we need salvation. We who, you know, live in the day, who work and light and have light and, you know, sort of deal with these heavy truths, must also deal with the heavy consequences. Ultimately, God will judge me more severely than any tribesman in Africa who isn't saved and all that jazz. And he'll say, you know, well, Ben, you knew better. You knew better than to do this, and this. And I say, yes, you know, you're right, you know. But that won't change the fact that I'll be going into heaven because I seek repentance. Like I'm in a constant state of grace because I serve and I seek the Lord my God. And I think a lot of people, when they look at Christianity, they see hypocrites like Joel Osteen, who honestly will burn in hell for all eternity for what they do. And believe you me, that fires of hell will be hotter for false teachers than they ever will be for that hypothetical tribesman from Africa. Like, the tribesman from Africa, God will say, you know, sadly, you know, a missionary didn't reach you in time, but you lived the best life you could, so you don't get a hotter portion. Like, you're still going to hell because you didn't accept me. Like, that's the harsh truth of it. Now, there's a lot of talk about, like, noble pagans and stuff like that for those people who have read Dante's The Inferno, which, honestly, I doubt people have even played the game. You know, which shows the consequence of the actions. But also, like, the game, I think, sort of glossed over the fact that you spend, like, the first little bit, you know, with the noble dead, the noble pagans who lived good and virtuous lives. Not the game. I actually think they skipped that part in the game. But, you know, like Julius Caesar and all that jazz, who lived actually a pretty virtuous life. You know, so he doesn't get punished too much. Or at all, really, compared to, say, Achilles or a Borgia or something, you know what I mean? And Borgias get it worse because they knew better. Like, they had popes in their family. They knew better. And it's all that about that. Now, can I tie this into Cardfight Vanguard? I've just been ranting about philosophy for the last... double ollies. I've been ranting about this for a while. It's because the Newsweek article really bothered me. Like, it's one of those things, like, I've spent most of my life as a Christian. I don't remember when I was saved. I know I'm saved. I've seen things. I've done things. You know, it's one of those things, like, people who doubt their salvation kind of miss the point. Once you're saved, you're always saved. If you doubt and it's really, really bad, you're probably not saved. And you need to go and find repentance for it. For what you've done. Me, I've got no questions. Like, once or twice I questioned, sure. Like, everyone gets a whisper in their head. Like, a little bit of the demon on, and, you know. It's like, hey, you're not saved. You fell into pornography last night, you know. You're not saved. And it's like, look, you know, I did, but that doesn't change my salvation. It doesn't. It's just a little bit of a failure. And because of that failure, I seek redemption and you know, repentance, and I say, you know, sorry for this, and I'll do better the next time. And then I mean it, you know. Like, ultimately, we have to mean what we say in prayers and all that jazz. And I'm mostly talking to Christians right now, I guess. Or even not even really Christians. The Christians who are wise. Of the wise, I should say. who know what I'm talking about, who understand the difference of what I'm talking about between, the light and the dark, the peril of the soul, because that's what it comes down to. The soul. What is the soul, and what are you doing for it? I got 4 boxes left after this one. Still no Rare, Legion Rare, or SP pack. I do want a go at that Rare Legion Rare, Rummy Labyrinth Rare. Philosophically, I find the idea of repentance to be the only reason to be a Christian. Only. That's it. Like, if it wasn't for sin and all that jazz, I just wouldn't be a Christian. If it wasn't for my fear of death, I wouldn't bother. If it wasn't for my desire to, not go into hell, not really. Like, I'm not... Like, I'm not concerned with dying and being wrong. I don't care. I live a good enough life that as long as, like, I go... Like, how to say this properly. Like, because of the actions and the virtues I take, and because of my generosity and other things like that, because I do give a lot of money out in a way. I tithe and I do all the good stuff that we're asked to do. I have no doubt that I go to the Happy Hunting Grounds or the Elysian Fields or anything like that. There is... Night Rose. There's nothing I see that prevents me from going out there. And enjoying, not paradise. Like, I'm not saying that I'll go to paradise, but I'm not going to be reincarnated as a worm, okay? It's one of those things, I'm just not worried about it. Like, in any other system of religion, I don't have a problem. But it's but those aren't real. Those are false. And they'll never be real. Like, it's Vishnu isn't a thing. The Greek gods are dead because they were men. Ooh. And their powers are gone. Like, Zeus was just a big, horny motherfucker. Like, that's the entire, like, I can point to exact places in Greek mythology that basically get summarized to Zeus couldn't keep it in his pants and he fucked shit up for a bunch of people. Perseus, not Theseus, but like the entire Trojan War is because Zeus went in the form of a swan, which was the thing that would excite Leda the most, the mother of Helen of Troy, and Castor and Pollux and Clemestra, I think? Yeah, Clemestra. And a swan. Like, was that a problem in Greek society? Women running off with swans? Anyway. He couldn't... He had sex. And that started the Trojan War. Like, that's basically the description of Helen of Troy's birth. She was kidnapped by Theseus, when she was like 12, because he couldn't keep it into his pants, and it nearly caused a war between Athens and Agamemnon. It's one of those things where it's like, couldn't you have not pissed off Hera again? Actually, it's interesting. Come to think of it, like, Hera's not as pissed about this one as she is about, like, Hercules, which is another one. Though, that's more like, in an effort to get back at Zeus, Hera fucks up Hercules' life multiple times. Like, it's one of those things, like, that's the gods of other men. Like, the god Vishnu, or whatever it is, like, they do things that are petty. Like, they destroy statues, they go... Oh, another Dragoot. Bother his wife while she's in the bathroom, and to have sex. They're no different than the Greek gods, I don't know anything about Japanese mythology, but, like, things like with the Aztecs. Like, people are like, oh, those evil Christians for tearing down the Aztec temples and stuff like that. They were so caked with blood, the flies made it almost, like, unviewable. Like, it's like every time they scraped off a little blood, they got terrified because there was skulls carved into the very walls. or like gigantic tiger men, jaguar men rather, and all kinds of nasty stuff that just scared them to death. And because of that, they wiped them out. And that's the story of the conquistadors and Aztecs. You know, it's sure they went in there for greed and honor and all that jazz. Not the honor, worldly honor, and the honor of the Spanish court, not the honor that you might think of. And because all those men were poor and often bastard sons of noblemen. Relatively poor. And, you know, when they got there, it turned into something else. Like, it became about the gold. It was still about the gold and all that jazz, and they dealt dishonorably. But the evil that was done on those temples daily, nightly, you know, the skins that they kept flayed and they would wear in their terrifying Night Rose reprint, terrifying rituals would just, you know, like I don't like it's like, ugh, like the amount of death that took place daily. And the Incas were only slightly better in the sense that they didn't have a literal line of people to slaughter all the time. They still left their children on mountaintops to die of exposure or strangulation to please the corn god. They still had, you know, terrible rituals where they would slay their own children. You know, it's like those are the other gods that I could worship. I don't. I'm not going to. Thor and Odin, you know, are a little better. Like, it's like Thor wasn't really that much of a dick. He kind of was. But it's, you know, Odin and all that jazz, they were doomed. Like, the spirit of the North, of the Northerners, is that they are doomed. Sweden and all that jazz. Really, I should not be surprised what's happening to Sweden, where their women are being raped by the Muslim immigrants that they let in, where they have become weak men and unable to defend themselves and would rather bash in the heads of their countrymen who would try to prevent it, rather than through their own Antifa, which is much more savage than ours. Like, they literally hunt you down and beat you up in the middle of the night. You know, then fight and survive. Negro Sire? You know, and that's one of those things. Like, the Norsemen knew it. Like, every civilization has something that points them to God. Whether it's the Chinese seeking perfection through philosophy and life, or the Greeks through their own philosophy, but also martial combat, through the Northerners, like, they understand that they are going to die. Like, it's one of those things, like, nobody's lying to themselves about it. Or to the Aztecs, that the heart is what matters, to those who make, to the gods, you know, it's tied it right back around. And it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. You know, why should I serve those gods? And besides that, the followers today don't even, like, have blood sacrifices. Like, it's a pathetic imitation of what they used to have. Instead of like the old temples to Baal and stuff like that, where they'd offer writhing children to heated hands that would burn them to death, you know, they don't do that. They're like, oh, we're more about peace and love and all that stuff. And I'm gonna be very clear. Their gods, if they ever had power, won't have power unless they commit the blood sacrifices of their ancestors, or who they call their ancestors. All right. I don't see Elizabeth Warren, who people call Pocahontas and mocking, you know, performing the ghost dance of her supposed 1/64th or whatever ridiculous number it is, genetic lineage. All right, like, those who disrespect Christianity and don't go the relatively honest position of atheist or agnostic. Hat tip to my cousin. You know, you don't sacrifice to them. You don't do anything that would call down their favor. You just have crystals and other stupid neo-pagan bullshit that is meaningless and powerless. Like, I've seen miracles. Like, I've seen hurtings. I've seen, you know, deaths and all that jazz. You know, I've seen some shit. And these guys don't have it. They just don't have it. And anyone who says they have it, I say, well, okay. You know, that's fine. I've heard of some things. I've heard of a healer, a witch of some kind who lives somewhere in the STL area, who can stitch together faces again. You know, who can, you know, heal the sick and all that jazz. But at the same time, you know, I haven't seen any evidence of it. It's just a rumor that she randomly took care of it once. She might be an analog to the Christian Science healers who heal by faith. And there's quite a bit of anecdotal evidence, but no literal evidence that they work. Because it's one of those Schrodinger things. Though, quite frankly, sometimes they're charlatans. Like, I would say that unless you know someone's real, it's probably a charlatan. Like here's the thing: if you'll hear of them first before they show up. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you won't. Like, they'll. I don't know. Ooh. SP Harry. So I have 5 SPs so far. You know what? That's alright. I'm going to keep going, though, just because I haven't gotten an SP pack or a Rare Legion, Rummy Labyrinth rare. And I really want a Rummy Labyrinth rare. Like, it's just one of those things where I want it. And I want to go for it. Do I think it's probably a mistake? Yeah, honestly, it's probably a mistake. But I've only got 2 boxes left, so I might as well gamble for it. And honestly, it's all right. Didn't think I'd get this philosophical today. But I've been thinking about these things. Like, it's thinking about honor and what it means to be a man. And I don't mean like in the sense of having a dick. I mean in the sense of like, what does it mean to be masculine as opposed to feminine? Because there's no one nature for humanity across a spectrum. Every human is a little different, but every human has basic natures that are shareable across all boundaries. And those shareable natures is what lets us communicate. Because we are communicate, that means that we have a base mentality and language that we all communicate on some level on the inside, even if it translates to Japanese versus English, or German versus French, or something. You know what I mean? It speaks, of course, you know, if you're a man like me, you know, to the fact that, you know, we're all fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, which, you know, doesn't mean that we literally look like God, though it could if God just wants to screw with us a little bit. After all, the metaphor. You know what? If I get 6 SPs, I'll be happy to. But I haven't gotten any SGRs. And that's really annoying. Yeah, whatever. Need help, Lou? Do you need help? Okay. I dig it. So what does that make? What is that? 3 more cases or something? Oh shit, that's like 4. Whatever. Oh, okay.
Pop the top up. So just pick another one in.
So I've got like 5 SPs.
Which ones?
Harry, Lovely Companion. I got 2 Negro Songer and a Seawall Banshee. But I haven't gotten any SGRs or an SP pack or an SGR. I mean, not an SGR. RL, yeah. And so I'm just going to open all of them for it. See if I can get it. Besides that, I have 1 pack left. So I pulled the SP Harry just now, so in the last box. But you know, there's still a different.
1 box left, no SP pack or ROL pulled. $100 that box.
If I believed I could sell that box based on the fact that I have not pulled anything from it and people would believe me, I would. I would do it in an instant.
No one's stopping me for that shit either.
Nah, I'm good. I want it for myself, just because it's more valuable. Oh. I keep on wanting to go for it. Nice. Yeah, what?
2 niggas on this bitch.
That's right. 2 of them. Yeah, well, if you're willing to purchase them. Okay, well, I guess that they're sticking in mine. Hubert. Come on.
Come on.
Nope.
Come on.
Yep. Oh, it's a nightmare doll.
Come on.
You sorting them as you go?
I'm just sorting them into clan. I find sorting them into clan works best. Because anything else is not too detailed. Especially in this build, in this one.
Yeah, every time I work with the other that.
Yeah, well, I don't have slave labor, so SP pack. Oh,
Hand it over.
what? No. Yeah. Still no SGRs. I almost want to do the last pack just because. Oh yeah. Just look at this. This is like $200 right here. Maybe. Hopefully. I'm hoping. I want $200 for it. I think this works better than other stuff, especially. Like, I know you guys can't really see it in the detail, but if you guys purchase this, you guys will understand. Oh, man. Oh. Like, it's more than just like the top-down thing. It's just, I don't know how they do it. It's like the whoever takes care of the SPs really knows how to handle it, because he's got multiple layers of holographic thing that seems to go up and down and side to side and swirling, and it's just so good. And like this is, there's like drops of water. There's like weird roses in the background of this one. There's roses in the background of this one. Like, holy shit. It's wonderful. And this one, this doesn't have roses, but it's got such detail, and they put it just right on everything. Is this new art? Nah, I thought it was new art. Oh, she gets new art. And it's not even like, it's just... And this is pretty cool. I like this. I'm gonna keep this for myself. I'm pretty much guaranteed to keep this for myself. Yep. I'm still gonna open the last box though, just because I haven't pulled any SGRs. I might pull another SP, and there's still that Rummy Labyrinth rare running around. Maybe. Honestly, it's just because I just want to see. I just want to see what it is. I know I'm kind of ruining my chances for this, but still. I just want to see. Partly because, actually, no, it's more like I want it on record. Like, the box opening for these cases have been very strange. And, you know, not normal. Like, I pulled 5 SPs. And then I pulled an SP pack. Like, that's ridiculously good. Like, by any stretch of the imagination. Just ridiculously good. Negro Sar. That ain't a bad pull at all. And honestly, I'm not pulling too badly for opening this up. Like, this set does have value. Like, I almost want to buy another case of it. And not open it, just sit on it. But I don't really think so. I don't, like, problem is that we're beginning to exit a tournament season. And there won't be another one till fall. So, you know, we'll see. Oop, over here. Anyway, what I was saying about communication, like I've noticed with that there's a male and female nature. Like the joke is that we don't know what we did. Like there's a funny anime picture of this girl running up to a guy, she kisses him, and you know he's like, oh, this is nice, and then all of a sudden she pulls back, slaps him, and runs off angry. And it's like, men, we don't know what we did, and you know what? That's fine. I really don't want to know. SGR. Yeah, overcome despair and come forth. The future is here. Yeah. See that? This is why I did it. This is why I did it. I'm hoping for another SGR. You know, it's just something you have to deal with. But I notice with nerds and geeks and all the various brethren who watch this thing is that they often have trouble communicating. Or if they do communicate, they communicate extremely poorly. Or they just don't hold on to what they're talking about. Like, during one of the instances where people were complaining about IYG pricing, and it's you know, IYG pricing isn't any different from anyone else's, guys. You know, it's honestly, sometimes it's cheaper than some of it. Sometimes it's more expensive. You know, it's just like every other thing in life. Different sellers. You go out 5 miles, you get a different price of gas. It isn't because people are screwing you over, it's because that's what the price is. So either don't buy or trade or do whatever. Just, you know, whatever. Point is that someone pointed it out. Like it's like, yeah, you know, I'm talking to a shop owner back when I was down in No Limits Gaming. Shout out to my boy. You know who you are. You is my boy. I think I'm using the term right. My boy. There we go. No, I don't think so. What is it? And a Lukier. It's not it. My friend. My homie. I'm gonna use the term homie. My homie down in Ohio and whatnot, which is honestly a very boring place. Like, I'm surprised how few restaurants were advertised that weren't like part of a chain or something. You know, I was talking to the shop owner of No Limits, and we were just discussing the state of the secondary market and, you know, the various things that go on in shop life and how things were going, how this tournament was going on. And, you know, somebody started arguing a bit. You know, he said something like, you know, you guys, you know, don't do it, it's too expensive, blah. You know, typical BS that people say. And it's fine, you know, you guys, no one's stopping you from complaining. We just can't do anything about it without screwing ourselves over. And so I said as much, you know, it's like, you look, man, a healthy secondary market is one of the best things you can have for a game. Because that means people are buying and selling and there's interest for the game beyond, you know, just playing it. Like, people actually want the game as a thing of value in and of itself. Because it's considered a thing of value in and of itself, you know, it will retain value. Like, it's one of those things, it's like fiat currency. It's not because the paper is valuable or it's tied to something valuable, it's because everyone agrees that it's valuable. So at the very least, and which was kind of like how Luck and Logic is right now, as well as how Force of Will was before they crashed and redid everything. Everyone agreed it had value, but the market started dying fast when people just didn't want to do it anymore. You know, because everyone agrees that Cardfight has value and because they enjoy Cardfight, the secondary market exists. Because the secondary market exists, more products are given to more people, which expand the player base. And blah, blah, blah. I said that, I said this. Fight. The guy wouldn't argue. He just kind of was like, he kind of looked away. Like, when I looked him in the eyes, and I said, I disagree with you. I think you're wrong. He just kind of didn't want to do anything about it. Like, instead of saying, well, you're invested, so you're not able to have an unbiased look at it, which is a very true statement. He would not be wrong to accuse me of that, or choosing to say, well, yeah, but things could be a little cheaper, this is really hard on my budget, which is also a decent argument. I'm sorry for people who have tight budgets for Vanguard. As the bourgeoisie right here, I don't really have that problem. But he just kind of like turned aside, like as if he didn't expect to have resistance, or because he didn't think it was worth his time, or whatever he thought. He wasn't willing to defend his comments, rather than, provide an argument and counterpoint and maybe change a few minds. He decided that he would rather retreat and, I don't know, preserve his dignity or something. Like, it's retreat isn't really something I appreciate too much. Not that I haven't done it, it's just I don't appreciate it when I realize it. He showed that it was more important to him that he keep whatever delusions he has, or whatever, ideas or pride, or, wow, just so many of these things. Pride or whatever it is, rather than, stand and fight for something. He wouldn't fight for his ideas, and he'd rather just walk away. And you know what? If that's what he wants to do, I wouldn't stop him. I'm not stopping anyone from doing it. But the thing is that you can't then complain, well, nobody's listening to me, when nobody's, you're not making your voice heard. It's not my responsibility to make anyone else's opinion heard but mine. The reason why I don't have my sweet, sweet Rommel-chan with me is because somebody complained. That's how it works. And I don't mean someone on the internet complained. I mean someone IRL complained. And he threw a shit fit. And whatever else he did. I don't know. I don't care. It's just... and so I don't have my sweet, sweet Rommel-chan. Who people defended in the comments and all that jazz. You can have your opinion. But be a man and face it. And if you're not a man, well... you're going to have to either, use your womanly wiles as they did in the old times and shame them into changing, which nobody did, or you deal with it as a man would. And I don't mean women should be men. I think that they are best when they're feminine. And even, how to say this right? There's more grace in being graceful than there is in demanding your way. And to be ungraceful in the things that you do cause people to inherently devalue your opinion, or if you're unforceful or you're not willing to stand on your willing to stand on your principles, that makes you less hearable. You might say, like with the recent election, that well, Hillary proved you wrong, Trump proved you wrong, but at the same time, those people had built up it already. They had already run the races and the trials and the tribulations, whether it's through Trump's successive management, because it's you don't survive 3 bankruptcies and not be a smart and intelligent businessman and then recover from it. It's just not something that happens. The money that he used to have golden ass toilets, in the shape of his face or whatever the fuck he does, how much of an ego would that be? I would not be surprised if he dictated the exact shape of the toilets. And I'm a fan, he's already done it. Hillary already did it. She married into it at first, but then she did enough of it, of the stuff that you need to do, that she was guaranteed this spot eventually. She did the political maneuvering. She communicated to the right people. She wasn't randomly chosen as like, it's you, bitch! It was more of, she did the patient and long-term work to make her ideas the ideals. Being the First Lady helped, but she still schmoozed the right people, made the right connections, spoke well enough to do it. A lot of people like to hear her speak back in the 90s. A lot of people had her book to, you know, Takes a Village to Raise a Child. Like, you know, I can't, you know, she was popular. You know, she won the popular vote, but that's in question. But thanks to some voter tallying and all that jazz. But maybe she, actually, you know what? Maybe she did. But at the same time, she still tripped up at the end. She didn't get the right places. She didn't go to the right people. You know, she ignored Middle America, and we didn't vote for her. Except in the cities, where her supporters are strong. But all the countryside voted Trump. And even 30% of Californians. Like, it's still, you know, he had as good a chance as anyone else, and he worked for it. And I see a lot of geeks that are just not willing to work for it in the real world. Like, they'll have internet arguments. I have internet arguments. I had one this morning where I argued with Joe about a sideboard. You know, where he's, like, he admitted that he wanted it to deal with Great Nature and Link Joker and all that jazz. And we're like, okay, but, you know, really it's just a screwed over Kagero or Link Joker. Link Joker, especially with the card Pocker. And, well, that's how it works, I guess. You know, he kind of was like, you know, you don't understand my point. You know, you don't get this, you don't get this. You know, it's like, okay, you know, maybe I missed something or other somewhere, but at the same time, you're not really standing and fighting. And you still have the point where it's like, yeah, Great Nature, I don't like losing to Great Nature. Okay. So you just want to screw over Nick Vahe. No, this is not what my point is. You know, it's like, okay, you know, we'll just keep going around this circle until you talk about it. You actually, you know, give us something that we can grasp onto to do it, other than, I think it would be a great idea. Okay. You know, if you think it would be a great idea, stand and fight on it. You know? Tell us why it could be a good idea. He went, and this is what really angered me, actually. You know, he went like, Koheleth goes, you know, okay, well, you know, what sort of things would you change up in Night Rose? And he goes, it's for me to know and you to find out. Fuck you, Joe. Fuck you directly. Face to face, I'm going to tell you fuck you as soon as I get into the tournament on Friday. Just because that's bullshit. You don't have a point, and they go, it's for me to know and you to find out. It's not argumentation. It's not smart. It doesn't make you look cute. It angers people who actually care about the subject, because it means that you don't care. And it means that your opinion is shit, because you can't defend it for fuck's sake. That's how it goes. Like, and I'm not even saying anything new. Like, people knew how to argue thousands of years ago. They had rules for argument. Like, the Greeks had intellect. Like, they did the intellectual fallacy sort of thing. Like, I'm not breaking new ground here. You know, being cute isn't an argument. And I mean cute, like sarcastic quotes. Alright, guys. I'm going to stop this real quick and then restart it, just so that Ash and the editing and all that jazz have another video to work with.
The world is in danger, but no worries. With the help of my friends, we can solve it together. Join us at the IYG Stand-Up Series. Imagine you're a goddess. And check this out.
Is in full swing, and we've got a special playmat for you. Wait a minute, is that me?
That's right.
My Night Rose cosplay!
And there's another special map for top 8.
Ash, how did you get those?
Uh-oh.
Imagine your goddess. Everyone who enters will get an exclusive playmat. Join us at Yeti Gaming, May 20th. And check this out.
Hey guys, I'm back, just like I said I would, and I'm back from outer space. And I look upon your face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 Seawall Banshees. And I'm actually pretty happy with that, because Seawall Banshee seems to be valuable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11. 11 Maltreat Shades. I'm mediocre to this. Maltreat Shade and the equivalent, Lapin. You know, I have 7 Demetrias. I should have taken a break before this video. Which honestly is okay. Kind of curtails my desire to make a Ghosty deck, but I do believe I have some Demetrias in my thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 17 Knight Zeoltas, which I'm fine with. I kind of wish I had more of these. Lovely Companions, 4, 8, 9. I do like them, though. I got an SP one. I'm actually really happy about that. There we go. 4, 8, 12, 16 Lapins. I'm okay with that. Now, the SP for this is very valuable. 4, 8, 12, 13. Luciers. 8, 10. Eleanor's. I'm actually fine with getting less of her. I don't think she's very valuable. Now, those are the double rares. I'm fine with this, because 7Cs probably will make a comeback. I do want to make the Ghosty deck, but I'll make it with Night Rose, original Night Rose, and Dimitri, I think. But I haven't really figured it out yet. It's just one of those things I really like what the Ghosties do, and sort of the funkiness that they bring, but we'll find out. Let's talk about triple rares. 4, 8, 9 Starlight Night Rose. 4, 8, 10 Negro Songer. I'm actually really happy with that. 4, 8, 11 Harry. I could have done with less Harry and more Night Rose. 4, 8, 11 Lucier Venus Strides. I'm actually happy with that, though. I do think Venus Lucier isn't really a good stride, but the fact that Silverthorn seems to be everyone's favorite Pale Moon deck is, well, okay. You know, if that's how you want to do it. Let's go over the special stuff that we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reprint Harrys. Then I've got 6 reprint Night Roses. I kind of wish that was reversed. 3 Fairfields. 3 Dragons. That's fine. 2 SP Negro Songer. I'm happy. This actually makes the like this in the SP pack make the case for me. You know, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's just so nice. Just so nice to have these 2 guys. And then the SP Seawall Banshee. So good. Got you. Bow, 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 bow. Not that I think Seawall Banshee's like really good, but I think she's good enough that a lot of people will do it, and it's a very valuable SP, which I'm happy with. 1 SP Lovely Companion. I actually really like her art and her ability. You know, I might seek these out for myself later on in the season when things are a little bit cheaper. Mass Phantom Harry, and people have forgotten about Pale Moon. Excuse me. I just really like it. And it's not even the bunny girl aesthetic. Like, something about her pose and everything like that just worked for me. I pulled 1 SGR Dragoon. I wish I had an SGR Fairfield, but I'm okay with this. Ooh. Like the, it's almost shiny enough, the gold bit, to work as a mirror. I can see the outline of my thumb and everything else. And finally, the Pièce de Resistance, the SP pack. This certainly makes it worthwhile. It was either going to be a Rummy Labyrinth rare or an SP pack, and I got the best of them. Probably. I don't know. But this is still pretty good. I like it. I'm probably going to, under Rex Heavy Industries, I'm probably going to put them up for sale online at whatever IYG's prices are, and then just keep them there and wait. I'm not too bothered by this, honestly, the waiting game of this sort of business, because I'm a man of patience. Like, you might have seen, like, sure, I blew up at Joe, like, for his bullshittery earlier on, but like, ultimately I'm a patient man when I'm not pissed off. No, ultimately I'm a patient man, so I'm willing to let this stuff lie. I'm going to try and get rid of a bunch of the double rares when I can, but I'm not really too driven for this stuff. I like to see the Negro Songers being sent off, but, you know, I want at least $60 for the pair. I think that'd be acceptable. Or like $30 for Lovely Companion, or, you know, 30 to 40 for Harry. You know, it's one of those things. Do I think I'll get that? No. But you can always hope, and you can always shoot for it. Ultimately, I figured that this is just a transition phase before I hit various goals, which I won't mention here. And, you know, I might seem like a man who just randomly does things, but I do have plans and goals and all that jazz. It's just that sometimes things have a weird way of working out. I'm not too worried about the fate of this set. I think it'll be valuable. I think ultimately I'll make my money back. But you got to be in for the long haul, and you got to take a long-term perspective into it. So if you guys would like, comment, and subscribe, IYG, you know, that'd be great. We are having the stand-up series May 20th. This is one of the mats we'll be selling. See the border. Well, not literally this mat. This is a demo mat. But, you know, see the border, see the art. We actually just got our champion mats in. No, what was it? It wasn't champion mats. Those aren't a thing. Why did I say that? What was it? We're not giving them... no? What was it? Premium mats. There we go. You think we'd give away stuff for free, or even for a $20 interest? Yeah. You know, you get the dumb ones. Like, we got the professional looking mats in. They are so nice. They are ridiculously nice. It is very fine. Yeah. Well. Anyway. This is Zulier the Mercenary King. I'm gonna sign off. Joe, expect that fuck you in the Friday as soon as I see you face to face, just to, you know, because that's how it should go. Nothing personal, but it is kind of personal. All right. All right, guys, I gotta organize this shit, and I'm going to do a video going over every card in the set, which is always all kinds of fun, and my vocal cords, of course, are burning. So...
Hey guys, Camille here! May 20th is coming up and people have been asking about the IYG stand-up series. So I brought a special guest to help me explain.
Hello, Camille.
Diesel, why are you talking like that?
This is the promo, right?
Tell him about the tournament.
The IYG stand-up series starts at 10 a.m. with a time to register for the tournament.
Beat the line by registering online. Singles will be at the event as well as other cool merchandise.
Each round will be best 2 games of 3 in Swiss format.
That means you're not out if you lose.
At the end of the day, there will be a cut to top 8, where best 2 of 3 continues in single elimination format.
At least half a case of Vanguard will be given across the top 8, not to mention another special prize. Will you be playing Diesel?
Sorry, I fight for my friends.
Oh geez. Join us at Yeti Gaming May 20th.
And if you can make it, locals May 19th at 6:30 p.m.
Stand up, Vanguard.